Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Big Nick Energy Podcast. It's been a minute, about a month, but we are still here. And, we have some things to be excited about because our Knicks, Marky, they're up 2-0 on the Boston Celtics with Game 3 at Madison Square Garden looming tomorrow morning. Or afternoon, actually, excuse me. How you feeling, buddy?
Bro, we are so back.
We are
Not
so
just the
back.
podcast, the Knicks are back. We are back,
so
baby.
Back. Everyone is back.
Dude, I have had a story to tell you that I've just been waiting to podcast to let you know it.
Well, then let's jump right in.
Because I feel like everybody's as sick. I don't know. I would love to hear from other listeners, other fans, if they're just as sick in the head as I am. Dude, we were down, so but to preface this, I was like texting you like my mental health well-being during the Piston series, how it's like this team can't win, blah blah blah. We were all just very, and I'm not trying to touch the money. It's crazy where we're at right now. But fast forward to the Boston game, game 1, and I'm sitting there and we're getting blown out by halftime. I'm like,
sure,
oh, this sucks so much. So I'm sitting there and I'm like, I was stressing all day before the game. I'm like, I didn't have, you're always cautiously optimistic. Anyway, I'm sitting there. I'm like, I am not going to listen to Kenny, Chuck, and Shaq talk shit about the Knicks in that first half. I was like, I'm muting my TV. So I mute my TV at halftime in game 1. And I start doing errands around the house. I'm like, okay, putting away laundry, doing this, doing that. Third quarter started. Okay, I take a peek at the score. Nothing's really happening. All right, whatever. We're going to lose. See the score balloon up to 20. I'm like, okay, this sucks. Whatever. I'll just keep it on. Mind you, it's still muted. Then I start to see us chip away at the lead. And I'm like, okay. I go back to, at this point, I just washed my sheets. I'm remaking my bed. And I got the TV on in the living room, and I can't hear nothing because it's muted still. So then I go back, and I'm like, we're down by 3 in the fourth? What? So now I'm glued to the TV, and I refuse to turn the volume on because the Knicks came back while I had it muted.
Gotta keep it going. Gotta keep the mojo alive.
So I sat there all through the first, for the rest of the fourth and into overtime, not hearing a freaking thing. I was like, whatever, we won. And I was flabbergasted. Now, fast forward to last night's game, which now would be 2 days ago, to game 2. I'm sitting there, I'm watching, I'm like, okay, we stole game 1, we'll get into like what the talking heads are all saying about this series so far. And I'm sitting there, I'm like, shit, it's halftime. And what were we down, like 15-16 at half? Whatever it was pretty similar to game 1. They're kind of blurring together for me. And I'm like, you know what? It's halftime right now. I'm gonna mute this shit. I'm muting the TV. And the only reason I muted it was in hopes that the same outcome would happen.
Sure.
And dude, holy crap. Basically, a miracle happened twice. And I want everybody to understand the whole reason the Knicks won those 2 games is because I muted my TV.
So what you're telling us is you're going to be watching Game 3 Saturday on mute.
Yes.
Good.
At halftime, it is getting muted. I will have volume for the first half. Second half, it's going to be muted. I have no idea. I have no idea what Reggie's saying. I don't
think you want to know what Reggie's saying, to be completely honest. And I'm one of the few pro Reggie Knicks fans because of some things I think I've told on this podcast that he did with my cousin. But I'd be good to keep Reggie on mute for this whole series. But why don't we take a little bit of step back now that we know that you won't be listening to anything from here on out. It has been a month since we've spoken to the people, and we apologize for our absence, ladies and gentlemen.
I just had to get that out of the way.
No, please. It was a great story. I'm glad to hear it. I love a good superstition, and especially when it works not just once but twice, and hopefully thrice on Saturday.
Hopefully.
Or just in the ambulance, you know what I mean? But since we last spoke a month ago, the regular season ended. The Knicks had a mighty 6-game battle with the Pistons of Detroit, with our guy Jalen Brunson sealing the deal with his Game 6 buzzer beater game winner. And now here we stand after 2 games in Boston in the second round of the Eastern Conference playoffs. The Knicks are up 2-0. And as I mentioned, headed back to Madison Square Garden for the next 2 on Saturday and Monday. Things are good in Knicks land. I did not watch them on mute. I have 2 unique stories of my own. I was without a car on Monday, so I did not go to the usual 33 taps in LA with the Left Coast Knicks to watch it. And what actually ended up happening is I got asked to come in and work a few hour door shift at one of the bars I work at. And I said okay, because things were going ugly early, and I figured it's the difference between watching on my couch and watching on my phone. And I basically took the Uber over to the bar around halftime. And suddenly I start getting alerts on my phone pretty much as I get to the bar. So luckily it was a quiet night at Oldfield's Liquor Room on Venice in Culver/Palms in LA. If you're ever around, come on out there in Bigfoot West. But so I watched that whole game on my phone while doing door duty and checking IDs. And the bar was like, it's a no TV, like smaller cocktail lounge, like fairly popular date spot, or like, maybe a small group of friends like gathering around, no food. And I was definitely the only person remotely dialed into the NBA playoffs. So when the Knicks won game 1, I definitely started screaming, and everybody, all like 7 people at the bar, looked at me like I was crazy because they had no idea what I was reacting to. So that was fun. But then yesterday, the vibes were immaculate at 33 Taps in Silver Lake. The Left Coast Knicks were on and popping. Shout out to everyone there, Pete, Max. Deezus was throwing through. It was a hell of a day. Watching the Knicks on Sunset in Silver Lake. Oh man, what an immaculate feeling that was.
We gotta cherish these wins. I think I texted it to you, like, we could look ahead. We can be nervous. Like even after the Piston series, it was like, okay, are we gonna get swept? Can we get 1 game from the Celtics? You know what I mean? And this is something I said to you, and something that I've been trying to preach to myself over and over again. Like, you win a game. Until that next game rolls around, enjoy that shit.
Absolutely.
Like, just enjoy it. You don't know when your team's going to be in the second round of the playoffs. Like, take none of this for granted. Enjoy it. You won in thrilling fashion. If you want to include the game 6 of the Piston series, we just witnessed 3 of the craziest wins. In back to back to back. Like, it was. We should enjoy this. I sent you a photo, dude. It happened so fast, us winning that game last night with Mikhail, because I'm sitting there freaking panicking that Mitch is one-on-one with Tatum going to the rim, and Mitch stays stride for stride with them and gets him to go out, and I'm like, oh my God, OG and Mikhail have him trapped. And the game's over. I ripped my shirt off. I didn't know what to do with myself, man.
You did rip your shirt off. That was great.
I did, because I sent you a photo right after.
You did, and then I posted it to Instagram, and then you got in trouble with your boss.
I didn't get in trouble with my boss. I just didn't want my fat body on the internet.
Oh, fair enough.
Oh, dude. So, yeah, I mean, we got to enjoy this, man. This is, yes, the Celtics shot horrendous, but it takes 2 to tank. That's the game. You know what I mean? Like, and you could talk like, the Knicks weren't contesting every one of those, but the Knicks did play great defense. They weren't locking them down every possession, but they did enough. And the Celtics, it looks like the Knicks have taken their soul, bro. Like, I'm not saying, and I'm sure we're going to get to this, and I'm sorry if I'm jumping a little bit ahead. I'm just so excited.
Clearly, I'm letting you go. By all means, cook, dude, my friend, cook.
It's game to game. Step on their necks. Do not let up. This series is far from over. Let me just say that. But the Celtics look shook. Like, they can't, late in games, not being able to hit anything. And I'm sorry. We have Tatum may have a larger resume than Brunson. We have the best player on the floor.
We do.
Without
yeah,
doubt,
we do.
Yeah, we do. It's Jalen Brunson. And
Nickel Swords, baby. That's the shirt. Jalen Brunson giving Tatum the hook. Giving the hook. Shout out to the Jizza, who I worked with for
underrated Wu-Tang member.
Hey, I worked with him for about 6 months. Traveled the country together. Went to some weird places. It was a time.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
I did not know that.
Yeah, it was check out Liquid Science on Red Bull. It is a science show hosted by the Jizza, and I was along for the ride everywhere that thing filmed. I'm just off camera.
Oh, shit. Liquid Swords is one of my favorite albums.
Yeah, it's a good one. That's why the show's called Liquid Science. It's cool. He's like an interesting like public figure because like he's not like stopped all the time by people who recognize him. Like only a handful of people do, but like when they do, they're like, holy shit, it's the it's like super like, oh my god, like it's kind of an interesting dynamic. Probably shouldn't be talking about this publicly, but you know, what are you gonna do?
Shout out to Jizza.
He's probably a Knicks fan, so you know, go Knicks, go Jizza.
Yep.
What was I gonna say though? Yes, so I agree with you. You gotta enjoy these wins as you go. Cherish it while you can, and you know, this high's been going for 24 hours, and it ain't stopping. Nope. Which I feel like, you know, I alluded to this earlier. We're recording this on Thursday evening. It should be out Friday morning. You know, so it'll be about 36 hours after Game 2 and about 24 hours before Game 1, somewhere in there. We'll see if I'm actually on time for once. But I feel like this is the perfect moment to kind of look back at those two games, see what takeaways we really have, what we want to talk about, while more importantly starting to look ahead to Saturday's Game 3 and what it's going to take to advance the series at the Garden, whether it be to close it out at home or send it back to Boston up hopefully 3-1. But I won't accept 2-2 at this point.
No, I won't either. Well, hey, no, but the Knicks mentality, the way the Knicks are built, I think I saw somebody post a stat where how close every game has been this playoff series for us, and how we know how to win these games like this. And you know, I think we are definitely in Boston's head, and I think that plays into it. But we also have to have this mentality of not letting up off the gas. You know what I mean? Like, don't think like, it's okay, 2-1, whatever. You're at home. Win. We haven't been the best at home. We're perfect on the road.
We've talked about it many times on this podcast about how Madison Square Garden is sometimes this team's heel, and what it does to bring out the best in the opponents. Definitely don't want Jason Tatum and Jalen Brown rising to the Madison Square Garden challenge, nor do I want that with Porzingis, who clearly is not right.
He isn't right,
but still, you don't want to put him in a situation where he can look right for a night, you know.
Yeah, I hope he's okay, because honestly, it sounds like something like long COVID or something where he can't get his like full strength back or whatever, and I'm like, damn, that's scary shit.
Yeah.
So I hope the guy's okay. Am I okay with him sitting out for long periods during a game? Yeah, but Jalen Brown did have a good game yesterday, but his knee ain't right. You know what I mean? Like, so, and then you've got, hey man,
look at what the Knicks dealt with last year in the playoffs. Injuries happen. This is, it is what it is.
Attrition has so much to do with things just as much as skill. It's you got to be healthy, and like last year we were not healthy, and
not even close.
And look at Indiana got to advance because of that, and now Indiana lucks out again. It looks
let's not talk about.
Yeah, we're not going to go into that.
Let's not talk about whatever. Well, there's only one series I care about what's happening in right now. And that's Knicks Celtics. Let the rest of the NBA.
That's Obi's old team.
Exactly. Let's let the rest of the NBA deal with themselves, and we'll deal with things as they come.
Sure. But they're lucky motherfuckers. That's all I just wanted to get out of there.
But back to the Knicks. You mentioned it, how close not just this series but the Detroit series was too. But let's look at this series, because I'm kind of looking at those last two games and looking ahead to the Garden, and obviously there's all the intangibles of the Garden crowd, what we just mentioned with how it brings out the best in opponents as well. Obviously, Jalen is just killing it and fighting through everything, and the team leaders are the team leaders. Josh Hart's been all over the place. I mean, and what more can be said about Mikal Bridges this week that hasn't been said after these two games? And OG,
he was horrible the first three quarters.
Sure,
yesterday.
but he came through when it mattered. Yep. But there's somebody I actually want to talk about a little bit more, because I think he's starting to become one of, if not the most key figures on the Knicks in this series, especially with the way it is. No, that is not who I was going to. Nope. I want to talk about Mitchell Robinson.
Yes.
Because I was looking at box scores before we jumped on, and I know plus minus is an
He's
imperfect
been a plus.
stat. But he's the only Knick with a positive, with 2 games of a positive plus minus. Plus 13 game 1, plus 19 game 2. Team high both games, and like I said, only guy in the team positive in both games. Most of the team is largely leaning towards positive by a few points just because they've won both games. But, you see a lot of negatives, especially in the starting 5 last night. Mitch Robinson, foul free throw shooting aside, has just been an absolute beast on defense, on the boards. That last Tatum possession in the final minute where he took Mitch to the hole wasn't great. But other than that, he's been everything and more. And it sucks that his free throw shooting is pulling him off the court, because I would feel even more confident if he could just hit those at like a 50% clip.
And that he is a 50% free throw shooter. I mean, that one that he had, I don't know if it was last game or game 1, where he completely airballed it. I was like, oh, God. And it's in his head now, but...
Bad free throw shooting in the playoffs always gets in guys' heads. Remember when it was Giannis a couple years ago when they were doing the counting? The crowds were counting to 10 to try to get him the violation. That's like the biggest thing that can give someone the yips in the postseason, I feel like.
I agree with you. The way it doesn't show up in the box score, he is a deterrent at the rim. When dudes have to block, they're worried about blocking him out, and it's like now Josh Hart can snag another 10 rebounds that game. So I love Mitch, man, and he looks more motivated than ever. Looks like he's loving this.
Yep.
I see him after again, he's like the only athlete I follow on Instagram. He's reposting his blocks and shit. He's gassed up. He's he's higher than his raised trucks, man. That dude, I love it. And and I love that Tibbs is keeping him, I think Joe Mazzulla was fouling him even when they weren't even in the penalty yet.
Yeah, that's to get to the penalty and to get to the
penalty.
Yeah.
And I was like, and then Tibbs is like, okay, now you're in the penalty. Mitch, come on out.
Yep.
Go in, Hart. You know what I mean? Okay, do you want to give us free throws? Okay, we'll take that trade-off. So, man, I have so much to say. My brain is ping-ponging everywhere right now.
Clearly. Say it. What do you want to say next? I'll let you take it away, buddy.
I don't know. You go. I got to...
No. Sehema. Breathe. Goose Fraba, Marky.
Well, I can't wait for Saturday, bro.
I know.
I'm enjoying the moment right now.
I'm definitely getting to the bar at an hour early at least, because it's going to be nuts.
Get the good seats.
All of the Knicks fans in Los Angeles are going to be out on Saturday, and it is going to be epic. I cannot wait.
I bought a 65-inch TV.
Just for Saturday?
No, I'm not getting into it, but I do have a 65-inch TV that I'm going to set up after we're done podcasting.
And keep on mute.
This afternoon.
Set it up and keep it on mute, baby.
Oh, yeah. I bet the first thing I'm testing is if the mute button works. Because if it don't, I'm figuring something out.
Gotta bring it back. There is one person who didn't play last night or 2 nights ago when you're listening to this, and who only got a few minutes off the bench in game 1, but I did expect to see him out there in the game 2, and I do hope he gets 5-ish minutes off the bench in games 3 and 4, and that's Precious Achiuwa, because it's been said by many, but he's an incredibly switchable defender, and in this series, that is immensely valuable. Sometimes the Celtics are going after certain matchups, whether it's Cat, whether it's Brunson. They're clearly trying to get the ISOs against some of the Knicks' lesser defenders.
Yeah.
And Precious is a guy that when they set those screens to try to get those matchups, he can easily switch. He can do a lot of things on defense. No, he's obviously not the most skilled player, but we've seen him work hard. We've seen him come up in big moments and big hustle moments, and it feels like he's got 1 or 2 playoff moments ahead of him this series.
Yeah, we did see him come in game 1 when Cat was in foul trouble, and I sadly, not that I disagree with you, I don't think we will see him unless something like that happens.
I mean, cat and foul trouble is becoming fairly common. I mean, one of the things that we probably should have said, that was probably something we should have said when we were talking about those Mitch minutes. And, Mitch is able to do a lot of these things when he stays out of foul trouble as well. And if Cat and him are in foul trouble, that's probably when we see Precious. That's probably not a good thing. So Mitch's ability to also not pick up too many cheap fouls. He only had one foul in game one. He had no fouls last night. Mitch has been doing a really good job of playing incredible defense and really protecting that rim without giving up any cheap fouls.
I'm excited, man, and we finally are getting to see the Twin Towers, Cat and him on the court together.
Yep.
I love it. I think
Same.
that helps in certain when Boston's deploying a certain roster, and I think
it's really not fair the Knicks aren't allowed to play 6 guys at once, because Mitch should be able to play with all of the starting 5. Nobody should have to come off the court. We should just let those 6 play together.
See, okay, hypothetical. Now, let's say, okay, because if we were allowed to do that, then Boston's allowed to do that. Do you want Pritchard with his lethal threes on the court?
I think that plays well into the Knicks, because then Brunson can just guard Pritchard, which is a much better matchup than when Brunson has to guard others. And the Celtics' weakness, especially with Porzingis dealing with whatever he's dealing with, is their interior game. I mean, they're relying on 50-year-old Al Horford for some serious
and Luke
minutes.
Cornett, what?
Yeah, and I mean, they're both playing well, but they're both not ideal for this situation.
No.
So yeah.
Luke, it's like and knock on wood, it's like if we had to rely on Precious in that situation, by dumping in Al Horford I'm not knocking Al Horford has way more talented than Precious Achiuwa and a way bigger resume.
Al Horford's great, but he's playing over 30 minutes a game, and actually I can look it up right now because I happen to have this up. He is legitimately 38 years old. He was in the
He's my age.
He was in he was in the 2007 NBA draft. I don't remember if he came out as a senior, but if he came out as a senior, that means he's 1 year older than me, because I graduated college in 2008. So yeah, he's our age, and we are definitely not in shape to play NBA basketball.
Bro, I just got out of breath yelling for the past 20 minutes. So.
As everybody who listens to this podcast knows, I can't talk without breathing heavily. So yeah.
What's with him breathing?
Those generally are the comments.
People are so mean.
I know. Hurt my feelings. Internet bullies.
Mean. Stop being mean to my boy, okay? So, what I think needs to happen for Saturday and Monday at MSG.
Let's hear it.
Do we want to get into it?
Let's get into it.
Think we need to keep seeing Cat. I think the most complete game the Knicks played was game 2. I don't think game 1. They heavily relied on Brunson and OG and McHale late in the game. Seeing Cat early on yesterday or 2 days in game 2 was really nice to see, and I think Cat needs to keep stepping up. And the Knicks, I'm not looking for them to blow him out. I just want them to keep close. Don't dip to a 20. It is so hard. You expend so much energy by having to come back from these deficits.
I agree. I want to see
close.
I want to no. I mean, yes, it'll be close. It's the Celtics, but I want to see them take the lead early and maintain it.
Yeah.
Maybe there's a few swings where it goes back and forth. I can accept that, but the Knicks as one of the things that made Game 2 so incredible, but also so anxiety-inducing, is that their first lead of the entire game was in the final minute. I mean. It's insane that happened, because they never at one point the entire game looked like they were ready to take control, and then they rattled off another 20-point comeback. So I want to see them. I want to see a first half where we're more in control and not chasing the Celtics as much as we have been in the first 2 games.
I agree.
Because the Knicks are always a threat, but I mean that's also there's a lot of things in Boston land where you can look at this and say. It's bad enough it happened once. It should, and maybe having it happen twice is a little too demoralizing. But you could still say, close game. These things, it's crazy that it happened. Not going to happen again. Let alone, after 2 in a row. If you come out and you really put a hurting on them and give them a strong 48 minutes of competition and a game the whole from tip to the end, I think that will go a long way into kind of helping defeat and move on from the series.
I agree. I think game 3 every game's important, but I think Game 3 is wildly important. That the Knicks, it's not a must-win, but I don't want Boston to get even sniff any sort of momentum. Like I think if they lose Game 3, like that's pretty demoralizing. And Boston is a very talented team where if they can go 2-1, and the way we've played at home, and now we're a game away from home court advantage that we snatched up is gone now.
Yep.
So Game 3, bring your A game. And, I have no reason to believe that this Knicks team isn't going to do that from how they've played recently. So they're up to the task.
I think they're playing some of the best basketball they've played all season. I agree with a lot of what you just said. But one thing I am going to challenge you on is you said to have Cat keep bringing it. I know, 14 and 13 in Game 1 was very disappointing. I know his box score looked a lot better, and he looked a lot better last night with 21 points and 17 rebounds. But I still didn't feel like he was dominant. And I know you can talk at
That's what I mean. I want him to keep growing on that. Like,
gotcha. Yeah. No. That's what I was saying. Is I'd like to see Cat take over for real for stretches at a time. He was close to doing that in Game 2. And obviously there's a lot of mouths to feed on this Knicks team, and they're at their best when the ball's being spread around. So I'm not trying to turn it into a Cat ISO fest. But, let's get Cat his Knicks playoff moment in Game 3.
His signature, yes.
Let's get him his signature game early so that he just has a ton of confidence going the rest of the way. And I know it might be a little out of character, but I think he has it in him. I think the Garden Faithful, he's someone who really feeds off that MSG energy. I mean, I know the whole team does, but you could tell it's different from him. You could see it all season. We were talking about it more at the beginning of the year, where coming from Minnesota, he didn't know something like this was even possible. And yeah, at times he's frustrating. Yeah, there's a bit of a love-hate. And yeah, we probably talk about last year's team a little bit too much. I think a big game, and I'm talking like 30, 35 points.
40 points.
40 points.
Burger. Yeah.
40 burger would be great, but if he's getting 40, that means other mouths aren't being fed. So I don't want it to go too crazy. Brunson's our 40-point guy. No, I'm kidding.
No.
But hey, 40 and 20, let's go. That would be great. Something like that, though, from Cat, I mean, that would get me feeling a certain way about this team that I don't think I would have ever felt about a Knicks team.
I agree. That's what I meant by that, is that he had a little bit of a better game in Game 2, but now take it. Sorry, that's a nervous habit I have.
To the audience who has no idea what we're laughing at, we have a shared document, an outline for what we're going to talk about on these things, and I'm just watching Marky highlight, none highlight, while I'm trying to look at him and talk. So I wrote in the document, "Stop fucking highlighting," and now we're giggling like schoolgirls about it. So,
now I've opened up my notes app and I've just opened a random note and I'm highlighting it.
I actually highlight shit when I read too, and I highlight that all the time. But it was a little distracting while I was trying to talk to you and seeing that out of the corner of my eye.
But Cat, let's let's let the cat out of the bag.
Let the cat out of the bag.
Let's let the cat out of the bag.
Let's let that bodega cat out of that have a nice day smiley face bag. Oh yeah, no, I
would love to see him go off when Brunson's getting his Brunson's getting his rest and Cat's in there, and it's like the offense is now running through you, dude. I don't want to see campaign. One thing that drives me.
There were a lot of bad campaign. It was a lot of bad campaign heat check moments yesterday. I did not need to see them.
Cat just dropped like 10 points in a row, and then campaign dribbles up, doesn't look to get it in Cat's hands, chucks up a 5 steps off the line. I'm like, dude.
As you and our listeners know, it's been a campaign journey for me all season, and I've come around to be a positive campaign guy. But that was the exact thing that I was talking about at the beginning of the season, and why I was so reticent to jump on the campaign bandwagon. I mean, on the other hand, you have Deuce, who's given incredible minutes. That Deuce dunk last night was just unreal. You love to see it.
Him and Hart were a big part of why we came back. Because while Brunson was still on the bench, they scored like 10 points in a matter of a minute or two. And I'm like, oh boy, awesome. Now we're only down 12.
It was awesome.
All right, let's go. I'm excited. So what do you think, before we sign off, what do you think we're going to do in the next 2 home games? Split them, win them all, or get beat?
I've been trying to prepare and thinking about this question all day, even yesterday. I really don't know. I really did not go into this series thinking the Knicks would win more than one. maybe 2 games if they got lucky.
Everybody.
I think everybody felt that way. And after the Game 1 win, I thought there was no way in hell the Knicks were going to win last night, and that we were lucky to go back to the Garden 1-1. But now that we're up 2-0, I don't want to jinx it, but I'm feeling good, and I think you got to step on the gas. Yeah, let's not say it. Let's just.
I don't want to say it.
I don't want to say it. I don't want to say it. I don't want to say it.
It's the playoffs. We don't have to give a prediction on this. No.
Let what may come, and let whatever happens, happen. Let's take things as they unfold.
Exactly. And one thing, and I sent it to you, and then I saw you later repost it. The new Pope, Villanova alum guy.
Villanova Pope.
Yo, this is divine intervention, dog. I don't know.
Who's to say? Have you seen the meme where they edit a shot of the Pope into the commercial?
Yeah, it's incredible. It's incredible.
It killed me.
The internet, for as horrible of a place as it is, it can be a wonderful place as well.
And Roommate Show did a fake next episode on the Roommates with the Pope.
Yes, the Pope's coming on. That was
so good.
Shout out to the Roommates, our companion podcast.
Shout out to the Roommates, our sister pod. We've been trying to get the crossover episode with Jalen and Josh on here. We're supposed to go in there, but schedules.
We've been too busy.
Schedules keep. Actually, that's why we haven't potted. I've been too busy. So yeah. My day job took me to New York and DC, and I just couldn't record and edit. So sorry, folks, but it's good to be back with you. In addition to shouting out our sister pod, the Roommate Show, we'll have to shout out our parents, Big Nick Energy. If the Roommate Show is our sister pod, shout out to the homies at Big Nick Energy.
Shout out Daddy and Daddy. Thank you.
Cop some merch. They often send out discount codes after Knicks wins, so be sure to be paying attention. Shout out to Google Document Highlighting, because apparently that's happening again. Inside jokes on Inside Jokes and Giggle Fests on Giggle Fest. Follow Big Nick Energy on Twitter and Instagram. Follow John Kolnowski on Twitter and Instagram. Maybe follow Marky, depending on if he's on social media or not this week. But yeah.
I undeleted Instagram. That's the only thing you can find me on. So
follow Marky Capicato on Instagram. Follow Glamour Kills Into the Sunset and everywhere around the world, because the Glamour Kills retakeover has begun.
Oh, yes. Yes. We'll be at a Warped Tour near you this summer. Come find us.
Are you going to be at Long Beach Warped Tour?
Glamour Kills is. If I'm there, I'm not sure yet.
Okay.
Probably.
Let's work on that answer being yes, you're going to be at the Long Beach Warped Tour.
Okay. All right.
Do a live off-season Big Nick Energy podcast. We'll host it at a bar and all our fans can come out.
There we go. All right.
Yeah. Shout out what bar. Drop a comment on what bar we should have it in. Drop comments with what you think is going to happen in Game 3. Drop a comment with what you loved about Games 1 and 2. Drop a comment with why you love the Knicks. Just drop a comment. Like, subscribe. Like I said, follow us everywhere. You know the drill now. It's 2025 and you're watching this or listening to it on the internet. Thank you all for joining us, and we'll see you hopefully again next week.
Bye.
Later, y'all.